Socialists.
Oh my god.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Welcome to the stream, people. Happy Socialist Sunday. Solidarity, everybody. How are we doing? Thanks for joining us as we get towards the end of the week. I'm your host, Lefty. This is the Sunday live stream on my left eye. Doc Davies hitting the chat first. Great to see you. Slightly cut off there on the screen. Apologies for that. Hope you're all very well, though. Quite an action-packed Socialist Sunday, where the left wing's concerned, and of course, my left eye has been involved in some of it. Lots to come on the show. We'll get into Keith's Fondue Lounge, which is where we normally discuss what's coming up on the stream on Sundays, in just a moment or two. We'll just get warmed up here, wait for the chat to fill up a little bit. In the meantime, make sure you hit thumbs up as you join us on stream. Also, just a reminder to viewers, had to do a re-upload of the most recent video on the channel due to a copyright issue. Not actually the one that was expected, though. There's two songs in the video. It was the first one at the very beginning of the clip that I thought I might have trouble with. Did a bit of tinkering with it before uploaded. Alas not. It was some supposedly copyright-free music used later in the video that I had to replace with fell back on good old Jeopardy theme, if anyone recognised that one. Apparently that's what that bit of music is. Good evening, Specs Bean Farmer. Solidarity, great to see you. Yeah, so apologies, the original was up for a while, had to delete that and replace it. The only way of replacing a song on a video is with one out of the YouTube playlist, as it were. So I had to do a complete re-upload. FSM is the dog. Nice to see you. Your party it is, officially, yeah. No more air quotes, no more so-called. I'll get into that later on in the stream. I'll talk about that in the lounge. What's coming up. I almost get carried away and start talking about what's going to come if it gets mentioned in the comments on Sundays. Let's save it for the lounge. Yeah, very quickly, people. Make sure you follow us on social media as well. At My Left Eye UK is the handle you need for Blue Sky, preferably. Also on Twitter, still, as well as Mastodon. And at this point, I'd just like to give a shout out to Herbie Ranger and the Supersonics, the background jazz music quartet. With us every Sunday. Just that. Gotta make sure that's just nice and subtle in the background. do have quite a bit to say about your party. The first thing I have to say next, though, is thank you. Thank you to all the members on the channel. Many thanks are indeed in order before we get into Keith's Fondue Lounge. Do appreciate the support of everybody on this list. As you can see at the top of your screens, unfortunately we've had some people who haven't renewed recently dip below that 100 mark, currently on 90 towards the way, towards the 250 goal, I should say. So thanks everybody. Other ways you can support the channel: if you're watching live, Super Chat is open. Super thanks if you're watching back later on. There's Buy Me a Coffee page, check out the link in the description of this stream or any other content on the channel. Thanks again, members. Great list of awesome supporters there. I can see the chat's already getting very lively about your party. Much to say about that and other matters. As I did mention, that recent video, it does concern the judiciary. Two cases really. First of all, how the right to juries are being stripped away, as well as how there was a last minute judge switch in a PAL action case. Please do check that one out. For now though, as I can see the chat's getting increasingly lively concerning your party, let's go over to the lounge and see what's coming up on the Sunday live stream, people.
Oh no!
Fondue time falls upon us again. Once more, people, here we are. Well, there's going to be much criticism of Keith coming up on the stream from Defend Our Juries and your party alike. First of all, concerning your party, which you can see a lot of you are talking about in the chat. Their inaugural conference was, of course, over the weekend. What can I say? First of all, unfortunately, I wasn't able to be present myself. This is the first time I've had the opportunity to tell you this en masse, I believe. But unfortunately, we weren't granted a press pass due to high demand. I could read out the email if you have any specific desire to see it. But that was the case, apparently. There were a lot of people requesting press passes. Unfortunately, we didn't make it. We've not quite reached the heights of Navarra or Politics Joe or whatever. They are great channels, by the way. But there you have it. However, we did have a roving reporter on scene for the first time. A regular viewer, MoscheOnToast, who I'm sure a lot of regular viewers will know and be familiar with. So they've provided us with some fantastic footage, which we're going to see a little bit of on tonight's stream as well. So it's my left roving eye, I guess, for the first time on the channel this evening. But as you're all saying in chat, it was a pretty messy affair. I was able to keep up with a bit more of it today than I was yesterday for obvious reasons, which I'll come on to. Had the stream on in the background whilst I was doing some editing and a few other things. Seeing other tidbits of news coming into me inboxes and so on. but pretty messy where everything's concerned. They have landed on the name, so as the party that was formerly known as Your Party, they will now be the party known as Your Party. So they've stuck with Your Party. There were 4 choices, I believe. Your Party, Our Party, For the Many, and I hope I've got this right. I think it was the People's Alliance, or Popular Alliance, or Progressive Alliance. Whichever one it was. Back off, mate. We're the People's Alliance. The fucking Progressive Alliance is over there. Very poor accents on the spot there. Apologies, people. But you see what I'm getting at. So they've gone for Your Party. They've voted. I'm not currently, of course, a member, nor am I of the Greens. Actually, is this worth sharing with you on the stream? I guess it is. I'm currently a member of a grassroots party. I've mentioned this before on the channel. However, I've recently been seriously considering a move. Yeah, so that might be coming up. I won't go into the reasons why. But let's just stick with this Your Party conference. As well as the name, they've also decided pretty much Jeremy Corbyn nor Zara Sultana are going to be leading this. It's going to be a collective leadership. We'll be talking about that, plus other dramas. The Socialist Workers' Party in particular kicking up a fuss yesterday, as well as a few other issues today. It was kind of weird. A few people I know actually were on the stage today. I'm not sure about yesterday because I was at the D.O.J Manchester protest, of course. But yeah, it was kind of strange to see them getting embroiled and all worked up in this pretty messy affair. But there are positives. There are positives. We do have to sort of look on the bright side of everything. However, I dare say Zach Polanski probably won't be losing much sleep over what happened. But before that, of course, Defend Our Juries were in Manchester yesterday. Manchester, the home of this channel. So exclusive footage, as well as an interview to come as well. That's going to be first up on the stream, on the schedule this evening. Can I finish the video speaking only in Cockney, peasants revolt? No, I'm not sure. Depends on the size of the super chat. No, I can't be bought. Don't want to even attempt that. Peasants revolt. Just a few ad-lib bits here and there. If that's alright with you, mate. Right, moving on. Keeps having a load of fondue here, as you can see. Back to D.O.J though. Yeah, it was actually good to see D.O.J come to Manchester again. St Peter's Square. I wasn't at the first Manchester protest where D.O.J is concerned. Have covered some of the previous London demos. Check out the footage, check out the videos of those. Again, more exclusive footage and interviews there. He plugs. Fondue Keith needs a flag. I'm not against the idea at all. FSM is the dog, not a bad suggestion. Yes, so there were about 30 arrests. I was part of the welfare team with D.O.J. I wasn't sitting, I wasn't holding a placard, just to want to be very clear about that. Because of course that is currently an offence, which is what this is all about. Those showing support for PAL action with the placards. Some 32 now, I believe, were arrested. And, well, I do have commentary through the footage, so we'll get started with that. I'll just interject once or twice in a couple of areas, but yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts about this as we watch through. I've just slammed a few clips together. I'll be doing a full, more HD version, video version, that'll be out hopefully tomorrow evening. But for now, you get sort of a first watch, my dear live streamers. JK is also with us in the chat. Nice to see you. Michael Anson as well at Red F. Socialix as well. Ephra Wells. Mobius as well. Go and check out Mobius's channel if you're into gardening. Dear horticultural viewers. Peasants Revolt, of course, another shout out. Awesome. Great audience we have building up this Socialist Sunday. Action Pally. You can't say that, otherwise they'll arrest a mannequin. Yeah. We did mention that on another stream. No mannequins. In Manchester, at least. But that did happen at a previous D.O.J. Demo just last week. Of course, they've been taking place all over the country, as far away as Edinburgh, where apparently there were 0 arrests. Other areas of the country as well. So that's all the fondue for now, Keith. Thank you very much. We'll be back later on for more fondue with Keith and the gang. Red F, are the Greens a Socialist Party? They certainly seem to be running deep into socialist policies under Zach Polanski, that's for sure. Some slight resistance from other areas within the Greens, but generally most people see this as a good thing. It's definitely getting them results, so they can't argue with that, even if there were a few NIMBYs or whatever. No doubt some elements of Green Party membership might call themselves socially, fiscally conservative, but environmentally left-leaning, they would say. But bollocks to them, because unless we don't sort this climate crisis out post-haste, as well as all the social issues, and tackling the wealthy, then, of course, we're all doomed. Okay, a bit of comedy, of course, to start us off. This one's a bit of a blast from the past. It's another old but gold from around this time last year. Larry and Paul with Broken News. So apologies, there wasn't too much in the way of new or recent comedy from the usual sources. I might have indeed played this on a stream this time last year, but if so, here it is once again. Old but gold, always quality. If a little strong, should I pre-warn you? Just a little, particularly towards the end. But do enjoy Broken News with Larry and Paul. Go and subscribe and all of that shite.
Welcome to Broken News. The UK has ground to a total halt after significant snowfall. The Met Office says as much as half a centimetre fell in some areas, making travel impossible and causing severe disruption nationwide. Our reporter has more.
Thank you, Wangabang. Well, hopefully you can see and you can hear me. I mean, if you were to sum up today in one word, that word would be complete and utter chaos. As you can see behind me, the planes have been grounded, many schools are closed, and buses just aren't running after unprecedented snowfall, which happens at roughly the same time every single year. And if 5 millimetres of the white stuff wasn't enough, winds in excess of 4 miles an hour have been recorded across the country, turning this flurry into a throbbing blizzard. Experts say this combination of extreme weather events is unusual, despite it happening at roughly the same time every single year. Also, hundreds of train journeys have been delayed or cancelled, but Broken News understands that's got nothing to do with the weather, it's just a normal day here in the UK. Some have suggested that Great Britain should be better prepared for the weather, but transport authorities have responded by saying that it's impossible to know when and where snow will fall, despite forecasters telling them, and despite it happening at roughly the same time every single year. And you know, Wangabang, it could be the worst whiteout since records began, which is a phrase that seems to creep into every single news report about weather, so we'll use it in this one. Back to you.
Crestfall, thank you. Well, apologies for the adverse weather, making that report difficult to hear. And on school closures, since we went on air, your 68-year-old dad has been in touch. He says, "This is ridiculous. When I was a kid, we always managed to get into school, even if there were snowdrifts the size of a small cliff. Then, when we arrived, the headmaster would beat us with big sticks with nails in. Those were the days. We used to get up at 4 a.m. and there'd be frost on the inside of windows. Single glazed they were, none of this central heating rubbish either. Plus, they used to feed us asbestos at lunch. They'd sprinkle it on the jelly and ice cream and it didn't do us any harm. I've got 3 houses. I didn't see a black person until I was 32. What even is a pronoun? Kids today don't know they're born. Puffs. I bet you can't even say that anymore." How helpful. Thanks, Kevin. What a lovely story. That's all from Broken News. Stay safe out there.
Larry and Paul, go and subscribe and check out some of their other content as well. Brilliant stuff, Broken News. Bit strong at the end there though. Guitar Guy, great to see you celebrating 11 months of standard membership. Been great to have you with us on the channel, of course, the whole way. Solidarity. Also Stu, celebrating 6 months, and James Holmes, 10 months. That's a triple celebration in order, people. Great stuff. So all 3 of you joined on a Socialist Sunday stream. Wonderful, wonderful. Please do big up James, Stu and Guitar Guy in the chat, please. Awesome to see our community growing as always. Red F, if you just whack the old join button there, depending on which device you're watching on, I'm not sure which direction it'll be in, perhaps downwards, just underneath the screen, the display. It's all one price, one package, 99 pence. Pretty straightforward really. You get perks like early viewings, exclusive content, that sort of thing, as well as static emojis, which people are free to use on these very live streams. And as well as celebrating month anniversary, James Holmes also hitting up 5 gifted memberships. Awesome stuff. Let's big up James again, please, in the chat, people. Stu included in those. What a shot! So Stu, who's live with us on stream. Oh no, sorry, you commented just underneath it. Sorry, I thought you were one of the recipients. My mistake. But thanks nonetheless, James. I'll adjust the goal now, 95. getting us closer to the tongue. Solidarity once again. Good to see that solidarity being shared in the chat, please, people. That's what I like to see on Socialist Sundays. It's all about reaching out to others on the left, whether we might agree or disagree on other issues. Generally, it's great to see some nice debate in the chat as well. FSM's the dog. YouTube gives memberships to people you can't see. It just randomly selects subscribers, I think. And the weird thing, you know, you're bound to get some people who might have subscribed because of one particular video, whether it's the algorithm or themselves, they don't really check out much of the other content, so they might get a gifted membership, but they do get notified. I'm pretty sure that's how it still works. It just randomly selects subscribers. Any joy, Red F? Doc, I was just going to say. Yeah. You mean correct. Is that about the random selection of memberships? A sortition of sorts. That word's going to be coming up at least a couple of times, I think, during the stream. A sortition of members. Yes, but I'm definitely not right. I'm definitely left. Lefty is left. Right, people. Less to get distracted. With the chat. Let's get started with clips and footage and things, of course, commencing with Defend Our Juries Manchester. This is all exclusive footage brought to you by yours truly that you're about to see. I got an interview with my friend Graham, who was acting as spokes for Defend Our Juries. I was on the welfare team. As I explained in the video, of course, the protest comes first, but I do try and get in whatever videos I can. First of all, though, thanks to Morbius for that gifted membership. Daniel Craig. Recipients, hope you enjoy your perks. Which means another update of the total is in order, 96 now. Thanks again, Mo. Big up Mo in the chat, please, everybody. Long-term viewer and supporter of the channel. Also a fellow YouTuber, as I said. For any horticultural viewers, definitely worth the watch. In Jeremy Corbyn's constituency, no less. It's not just demand for social justice which is growing there. Of course, do check out the channel. I was wondering when someone was going to make a Bond joke about the recipients. I wasn't going to go there. Just for the sake of brevity. But James Holmes thinks Daniel Craig's the second best James Bond. That's perhaps another debate for another time. For now, though, on to my left eye on the streets. This time here in Manchester, like I was saying there, exclusive footage from yours truly. And I do add commentary as we go through. There'll just be a couple of points where I interject, so let's go to Lefty from the past. My Left Eye on the Streets. Thank you, Lefty from the future. Just arrived at St. Peter's Square in Manchester. This is where the Defend Our Juries protest is going to be taking place today. It is a very typically drizzly winter day here in St. Peter's Square in Manchester. I'm a little bit early, so I've got a rendezvous to make. I'll grab a coffee as well to try and keep myself warm, and then we'll crack on with proceedings, and I'll catch up with you in a moment, people. Rise up, rise up. Manchester residents will be familiar with St. Peter's Square, the history that there is with protest here. Been to many protests in St. Peter's Square. Emmeline Pankhurst there, overlooking the square as usual. In fact, just when I first got involved with JSO, there was a protest about the memorial. Very quickly, just to interject here, I'll let it play a lot longer, believe me. I didn't notice this until I was doing the edit. I was there alone at that point, by the way. Just arrived, as I explained. But after I started to talk about Emmeline Pankhurst, someone, perhaps behind me or wherever, I didn't notice this at the time, said deeds, not words. If you notice, that comes through. Sorry, I just noticed that. I couldn't help but point it out. But I don't know who that was that said that. It's very true, of course. Deeds, not words. Still rings true today. Rise up, rise up. Manchester residents will be familiar with St. Peter's Square, the history that there is with protest here. Been to many protests in St. Peter's Square. Emmeline Pankhurst there, overlooking the square as usual. In fact, just when I first got involved with JSO, there was a protest about the memorial of the Peterloo March across by the library there. That's where I met Jeremy Corbyn briefly once. This is going to be the scene. Still a bit early, still very drizzly. It's going to stay that way throughout the day. We're expecting highs of balmy 7 degrees Celsius here in Manchester. Just waiting for things to start. I've all been briefed. I'm doing welfare again today. I should have mentioned that earlier actually. I'm not actually sitting holding a placard, but I'm supporting and doing welfare. Of course, as always, the protest comes first, but I will try and get in as much footage, maybe a couple of interviews as possible, without being intrusive obviously. So we'll be starting in just a few moments. Alright people, we are just a moment, 1 minute away from showtime. Myself and a few other welfare volunteers are just on the tram platform, as you can see, making sure everybody knows which direction to go in. So you can see just across the other side, once the tram gets out of the way. This is where the sitting is going to take place. You'll see in a moment, there we go. And you can see everybody all there ready to start. I will nip over in just a moment. Sorry if there's any shaky cam, it is very cold here. We've got sleet and rain already. When this protest began, that is the D.O.J protest in general, it was early summer. We're now at the back end of the year, of course, and slightly more testing conditions. There are some very determined people here. It will take more than a bit of weather to put everybody off. Having to zoom in a lot here because still on the other side. The placards are already out. You can see there are a few police. So there's another tram coming, going to block the view. Just to explain, it's not all from this distance, so do get a lot closer very soon. We just had to be out there. Myself and a couple of others volunteered to redirect people until, of course, you couldn't miss it. A few police here, there's about 4 carriers, 4 police vehicles. You can see over there. Not sure how soon people will start to get arrested, but I will keep you posted, people, in the early phases of this D.O.J Manchester protest. Solidarity. Sorry mate, you can't go any further. Okay, this is as far as I can go, but someone else being taken away there. There's a few antagonists, I use the word loosely, around. I'm not really giving them the time of day. There's been a Palestine march in Manchester earlier today. Some of them have come down to show support for Defend Our Juries, which is fantastic. Yeah, about 50 people came down. As they arrived, I was just in that area, so just asked them not to overcrowd the sitters, and if they wanted to show support, do it by the police carriers as they're being taken away. But around 50 people off the main march, which was also taking place earlier in the day in Manchester. Solidarity, again, a great show of support, as you're going to see here in the clips. Just here to support the arrestees as taken away into the carriers. The support's incredible. Manchester always has a strong sense of solidarity. You can hear shouts of shame. Non-violent protesters being led away. The police obviously have much better things to do with the time and with public finance. But here we are. That's the state of affairs in 2025. Show support for the hunger strike here. One of the Palachian protesters who's imprisoned has been on a hunger strike for around a fortnight now. A very brave man by the name of Cameron, and he was yesterday taken into hospital with severe malnutrition. So good to see support for that here as well.
Being pretty slow actually, how they're arresting me slowly.
We've got some whataboutery going on here from looks like some
This is our country, this is our land, this is our flag. This is what it's about. This is what the culture and the heritage is based on. Our children and our children's future children. All of our families,
really
our
have,
women and our families are being divided.
much idea about what's going on.
Vulnerable, the elderly, disabled, going cold. Being hungry,
it's not a binary choice between protesting against the prescription of a non-violent action group or for looking after our children or any other societal issue you've got, as these people would try and have you believe. What about the homeless? What about this? What about that? They will say anything to avoid talking about the real issue, the real topic of the protest, which is the removal of our rights that were hard fought for in places like this here in Manchester. But we'll just let him stand there and talk to himself, I guess, because nobody's really paying attention. He's certainly not going to persuade anybody away from supporting Defend Our Juries if that's what he's decided to come and spend his weekend attempting to do. Got bad news for you, pal. It's not going to happen. Back to you in the studio, Lefty from the future. Yes, thank you, Lefty from the past. So, just shortly after this, I went over to one of these antagonists, these dickheads. And there's about 4 of them, but that guy having the megaphone, of course, in audio terms at least, being somewhat overbearing. But you can see this guy who's holding the cross here, he was another one of them. All 4 of them were right-wing live streamers of some description or other. I'm glad to say that I didn't recognise any of them. But one guy in particular, the same guy who had the megaphone, kept playing this audio clip on repeat of somebody asking why everybody's protesting about Palestine and not about Christian genocide in Sudan and all of this other sort of whataboutery. Nigeria as well, I think was on this clip, which he had on repeat, it was about a minute long. So in between him shouting on the megaphone and this clip, yeah, it was quite monotonous. But while I was talking, he brought this up as I was speaking to him for a couple of minutes, because I knew exactly, I know exactly how to deal with these kind of people. But he asked why I wasn't talking about Nigeria, this supposed Christian genocide in Nigeria that we should be protesting about instead. Like I said in the video, though, it's not a binary choice. But just getting into this argument, I then asked him if that is what he was there to protest about, and he said no. Genocides are not laughable. That's not what I'm laughing at. It's this guy, this whataboutery antagonist. So asking us why we're not protesting about that, when asked if that's what he's there to protest about, he said he isn't either. And I asked him the same about Sudan. At which point he asked me if I was a Christian, at which point I told him that I was an atheist, a renunciate, if you will. I was raised Christian, but I am atheist. But at that point, he sort of looked at me as though I don't know, as though I had a pentagram tattooed on my forehead and I'd shouted "Hail Satan" at him or something. He went quiet and sort of backed away, looking at, I don't know, a white Englishman who isn't a Christian. This guy's from the south. I wouldn't be surprised if he'd come a long way just to sort of make this fuss, if he wasn't actually a Manchester resident himself. But this guy, my goodness, oh, what can you say? I'm really holding back here, people. But and as for the other two, you can see the guy there with the massive cross, one of these other live streamers. First of all, blanket statement, they're all overwhelmingly blind to the fact that, of course, in the Bible, Jesus was born in Bethlehem, which is, of course, in Palestine. They don't want to address that. Unbeknownst to them, probably, I know for a fact that there were retired members of the clergy amongst Defend Our Jury's number. I won't name them, as always, unless they name themselves in footage or give express permission. I refrain from using people's names, but you can take it from me. I know 100% for a fact that there was a retired Anglican priest there, for example. But those guys didn't know about that. So yeah, I only sort of, because I was curious myself. But as soon as I said I was an atheist, he kind of backed off. I do have to give credit as well. Fortunately, we had the numbers, you might have noticed in the clips, lines of people to sort of create a physical barrier between those antagonists and the protesters, whom I won't name either. But well done, every credit to everybody, because everybody did a really good job. Let's crack on. Back to Lefty from the past.
Just give us some space, mate. Thank you.
on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Where do you sleep at night?
Aiding and abetting the most serious crime there is, genocide.
I'm just gonna,
and you're here
if you just
taking
listen
away
to me,
ordinary people
just listen to
who
me
are
for 1 second.
protesting.
Okay.
You might have seen another clip of this lady Pam. Pam's 85, and in the clip, well, other outlets you might have seen passing it around. You can hear me at the end saying, get out of the way, but I managed to get a closer view of her arrest, which you're going to see here. I shared this on social media as a bit of a teaser for today as well. Some of you might have seen that as well, but 85 years old, making the perfectly valid point that the police should be arresting the genociders, those complicit in genocide, not 85-year-olds. Well said, Pam. Let's just start that part again from the start.
Where do you sleep at night?
Aiding and abetting the most serious crime there is, genocide.
I'm just gonna,
and you're here
if you just
taking
listen to
away
me,
ordinary people
just listen to
who
me
are
for 1 second.
protesting
Okay.
genocide.
Listen to me 1 second.
And are
I'm going to give you an opportunity,
supporting an organisation
to put this
that
away.
is working
Are you going to put this away?
I'm not going to put it
You've run out of room in jail.
You're going to be arrested if you don't put this away. You understand that, don't you?
You're arresting the wrong woman.
Okay. So,
Arresting
I'm giving you that opportunity.
Just move back.
Just listen to me.
Move back. Give me some space.
Just hear me out. Move back. Give us an opportunity to put this away. If you don't put this away,
I'm giving you
then
the
you're going to be under arrest. Okay.
obeying the law.
Okay. So,
and not
running out of room in the
arresting
jail,
people.
guys.
Illegal.
are you refusing to put this away?
I am refusing
Right.
to put it
Okay. And that this moment in time, you're under arrest. Okay. Section 13 tells that supporting a prescribed organisation.
Set off, we're going to have everyone
so you're
move
under arrest
back to
now,
the
so
first
give you an
base, all right.
opportunity to put this umbrella away if you don't mind. Would you mind just stepping up for me and walking?
No, I'm not going to.
You're going to arrest the officer for holding that
Please,
sign.
you're under arrest now,
With
so-
illegal laws.
Okay.
You shouldn't pollute either.
Are you okay to stand up of your own accord?
No, I'm not okay to stand.
Okay, otherwise if you
not
fail to do
comply.
so, we'll have to use force, you see, so...
I understand.
Okay.
That is mine as well. The umbrella is mine.
Okay, step back for me, please. Someone hold the head, please. Everyone step back for me, please. You could take their head, please.
90 minutes into the protest, there's about 7 people left at the moment. There's a lady here on oxygen who's going to be the last to be taken away. I've just overheard some of the police liaisons mention that. So far pretty straightforward. No. Oh yeah, really bad optics for Starmer, an 85-year-old, a lady on oxygen. What can you say? We've seen this repeatedly from when it began at Parliament Square in London, the most recent London one taking place in Tavistock Square, I believe it was. Sorry, there was another one this weekend as well. But many examples of pensioners and the disabled. How many times can we say it? It's just repulsive, utterly shameful. Graham Turner, total disgrace, and those upholding these laws need to find their conscience. Yep, it was Yvette Cooper who started this, it's Shabana Mahmood who is perpetuating this. Bastards both. Incidents with welfare oriented to report, fortunately, but this has all happened rather quickly. Just 7, or is it 6? Very brave people, every single one. These are our final 4, 5 sitters. Just making sure they've got everything they need. So this is, and even just before the lady with the oxygen tank was taken away, she still had some Bovril left in a flask, and she was offering it out to people, and I gave her some help with that. Still being remarkably generous, despite knowing what's about to happen to her. I'm not sure if this was a first arrest or not. But what can you say? Very brave people.
He's not a sitter. He doesn't have a sign.
Oh, that's true.
He's hoping they'll arrest him anyway, just for fun.
There you go. We've actually got 4. The gentleman in the middle, not holding a placard. You wouldn't put it past
He's
him.
there for support.
You wouldn't put it past him though, would you?
No.
No, I definitely wouldn't.
Sorry.
Okay, people, we're here with Graham from Defend Our Juries. How do you think it's gone today?
I think it's gone pretty much as I was expecting. We had a lot more supporters here this time, and I think that we've managed to keep some of the far right away from the cities, which is, I think, one of the main reasons I wanted to be here was to be part of a protective cordon around the city. So on previous occasions, they've been much more aggressive than they have been today.
So the police response has been pretty average, pretty moderate today, you think?
Yeah, they've been, I hate to say it, but they've done their job. I mean, they've been told to do it.
It's strange at this point, just to quickly interrupt, I say moderates as far as, repeatedly arresting, for example, the elderly and disabled, or anyone for that matter. But it's happening so often now that, yeah, just about average, the way that they're dragging away old people and the disabled. It kind of seems strange to say it in such terms. It is still shocking, of course, but this just being, about average for now. It says everything that you need to know about how draconian it is.
I expect a lot of them don't want to do it. I was talking to someone who's got a cousin in the Met, and he said most of the police force don't want to arrest me.
You can sort of get a sense of that though during the process, can't you?
No, he was saying they're making mistakes on the forms deliberately. So they
really? Okay.
I'm not saying that's everybody, but he's saying that's happening.
Did you hear that properly, people? Some of the police apparently, allegedly making deliberate mistakes on the forms, begrudgingly taking these people away. Seen some examples of that. I think eventually, in time, we will see more testimony. Hopefully retrospectively, once this legislation is of course dropped, and then they'll come out and of course want to talk about the remorse or regrets about taking part in these arrests. Who knows? But I think that's increasingly likely. I'm not sure where the source on that is, but I only found that out whilst I was interviewing Graham in real time, to be honest, people. Do know Graham from JSO. He's been a spokes for JSO as well. Yeah, great guy.
We're doing what we have to do.
Yeah. He wouldn't lie. He wouldn't lie about it. That's what I'm saying. Top guy.
Defend Our Juries is doing what it has to do.
Yeah.
It's bringing to the attention of everybody, the government, the public, the media, bringing to their attention that Palestine Action should not have been prescribed, and that they are a non-violent civil resistance group, and that non-violent civil resistance groups are not prescribed organisations, and that ban has to be lifted. But I also think there's another thing about Defend Our Juries. It's not just about Palestine Action. It's about the rights of juries the rights of juries to acquit on the basis of their conscience.
Yeah, speaking of that, actually, how do you feel about what's been in the news this week? We've had a proposal to remove the right to a trial by jury, except with certain cases, and also the last-minute judge switch on the Pal Action case. How are you feeling about all of that?
Switching the judge?
Yeah.
I mean, what's that? That's the judiciary being interfered with by government, which they are not supposed to do.
No.
But of course, they always interfere with the judiciary. It happens all the time. It's just that this was so blatant.
Continue to be a Christian land. We will not fall.
And they did it with the same judge. Sorry about the absolute arsehole in the background there. He did manage to get a bit closer at that point with his megaphone. Sorry about that. I was presiding over a case for the F-35 parts, and they did the same thing to the same judge, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it's getting really draconian, isn't it?
Well, you look at the laws that have been enacted by the Tory government, which a Labour government have kept in power and are strengthening and are adding new laws. They are shutting down protest. Non-violent civil resistance is being shut down.
Whether you support this or any other cause, it applies to all of us.
These right-wing idiots, if I may say so, over there, if they're arrested, they will want, a lot of those will want to go to a jury trial, and they'll lose that right to a jury trial. I would say that anyone who goes to court for a conscience, on the basis of their conscience, should have a jury.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks a lot, Graham. Solidarity. I didn't have a chance to film the last few arrests there because I was doing my welfare duties, but it's all over. The last protesters have been taken away in the carriers to 2 different police stations that we know. We're still arranging police station support at the moment. However, a few musicians have just come to me and asked if they can perform a song. They're just getting set up here, so myself and the other welfare volunteers are going to have a bit of a debrief. Hopefully I can bring you some footage of musical number in just a moment, people. But for now, no problem. No problem. Sorry it's beeps out there. A couple of the other supporters, whilst I was filming off screen, mentioned, well, my other name, addressed me by my other name. Hedy, thanks a lot for the super chat there. You support Pal Action and you oppose the G word. I read it out. Technically. Thanks again for that super chat. Thanks for your support as always, Hedy. Let's please big up Hedy in the chat, please, everybody. Yeah, so that explains why there was some beeping out there. But for now, that's it, and it's back to Lefty in the future in the studio. So, unfortunately, after the debrief went back, I've been gone, so I can't bring you the musical number. But can, of course, just for a few moments, bring you Resident House Band, Herbie Ranger and the Supersonics. Hope you enjoyed that footage, people. I'll be releasing that in HD as a video with some other added bits as well, of course. But let me know what you thought about the first watch here on the stream in the chat. It was an honour to be there. So over 100 people arrested across the country, 32 in Manchester. As I said, really well organised, very proud to have been able to help. Free the Filton 24. Yora Gibson, good point. Free all political prisoners. Free them all. So, of course, those arrested being charged under terrorism laws. Just the day before, just on Friday, I think it was, Defend Our Juries put out this short clip concerning the kinds of people who now have that attached to the name, as those who took part in the very first protests now have their court appearances and trials underway. So let's see what this means. This is from Defend Our Jury's media, just to give credit where it's due cause.
I am a terrorist.
I'm a terrorist.
Me too. I used to be a tax advisor.
What?
I think you'll agree that speaks for itself. People's solidarity with all those taking part, of course, solidarity with Palestine. Good to see the flags going up in the chat, as always. Thanks again for that. Moving on though, people. That's about all we have time for. Where Defend Our Juries is concerned. Keep your thoughts coming in chat or in the comments if you watch it back later on, of course. For now though, on to the Your Party conference. Well, what can we say? First of all, it is officially Your Party, of course. That's the name that was voted in. Just a reminder for anybody joining us a bit later on stream, I wasn't granted a press pass. However, roving reporter, my left roaming eye, MoscheOnToast, regular viewer, has provided us with some clips. I'm going to try and get as many of those onto the stream as I can. In fact, some of them are actually coming in as I'm live with you on stream. But I do have one that's pre-prepared here. Definitely worth watching. Shout out again to Moshe for volunteering to get us some footage. There were some calamities where the conference is concerned that we'll come on to. There are positives to draw as well, as I said. Just one moment, people. Yes, so I'm going to start with Benjamin Pestieau, who is the head of the Workers' Party of Belgium. And recently there was actually a very effective general strike in Belgium, which Benjamin's going to mention in this clip. So once again, shout out to MoscheOnToast for providing us with this footage. Let's see what's happening, people, at the Your Party conference.
And social movements, a party that stands unapologetically for equality, workers' rights, peace and social justice. His work shows that it is possible when a movement stays close to ordinary people and it refuses to be pulled away from its core values, that it can work and succeed. He is here today not just as a guest, but as a comrade, offering solidarity and encouragement as we begin shaping a new political force in this country. So please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Benjamin Pestieau.
Thank you, comrade, and first of all, as I said during the French, I would like to apologize for my poor English. I will try to be understandable for all of you. For us, it's really an honor to be here. We come from a small country with a specific situation, and all we learn today, it's really inspired. And what's happened today, it's certainly important for Britain, but it's certainly important for Belgium, for Europe. So we wish you a lot of success for the foundation of your party. I would like to share with you a part of our experience, and we hope that it can be a bit useful for your process. But before, I would like to tell you, Belgian working class has been struggling for more than a year against a right-wing government. In the last 12 months, we have experienced at least 30 major union mobilization and 5 large-scale actions in solidarity with Palestine, 2 general strikes, several national demonstrations in Brussels of 100,000 people or more, and the 14th October we'll still have 140,000 people on the street of Brussels. This week was again very strong and powerful. Monday, a national strike in the public transport. Tuesday, a general strike of the public services. Wednesday, a general strike of the public sector and the private sector. All these days, we can see who keeps the society running. It's not the billionaire. It's not the politician. It's the working class. That was the proof of this general strike.
Yeah, as he said at the beginning, he came on stage, apologies for my poor English, and then proceeded into this, which is absolutely class. Mild Bond villain-esque vibes, but in a positive way. He's got, look at little Belgium, who had a general strike and it worked, but we English still toil away and still collectively tolerate so much.
Union activists who are members of our party participated actively trying to bring content, combativeness, and optimism into the labor movement. They work without relaxation to encourage the unity of the movement against all the divisions the government tries to impose between public and private sectors workers, between the north and the south of the country. We speak two different languages in Belgium. Between unemployed or precarious workers and those who are employed. Between workers of different origin, generation, men and women, or capitalist system, is skillful in the art of creating division. We are trying to rival that skill with the art of unity, because the most precious capital of the working class, it is its combativeness and its unity, both of them. During these strike days, we also, with our municipal branches, organized more than 700 solidarity visits to the various picket lines. We mobilized our youth organization, convinced that there is never enough solidarity in the struggle. Let me share a part of our experience. Before our party is born a long time ago, but we remained during a long time a small party. with genuine militant, genuine comrades, with a lot of commitment, but we stayed a small party for many years. And at the beginning of the century, we had a big debate in our party. We have to change our approach or we are going to die. That was the content of the debate. And our starting point was there is a place for a broad, strong, socialist political project in Belgium. There is a place for a strong, working class oriented party in Belgium. And so we try to change our approach. And our approach is based on 3 pillars. The first pillar is we are a principled party, a Marxist party, a party with a strong socialist project, a party who is based on democratic centralism. Why? Because democracy is important, but unity in action is important. We have both of them if we want to win. Democracy, unity, because without unity we cannot do anything. The second pillar is a party who is master in the art of tactics. Without tactics, you cannot do big politics. And we build 30 principles of tactics. I will show you. I'm not going to tell you the 30 principles of tactics we developed, but one of them, some of them was, for instance, when we do politics, we do on a good knowledge of what live among the working class. We made lots of inquiry. We go in the community, we go in the factory to listen, to make inquiry what live in the working class. We support whatever is positive. We are here to have a positive narrative, not to have a depressive narrative. With depression, you cannot mobilize anybody. Sometimes we need to seize the moment. Sometimes we should to be in a defensive position. We have also to touch not only the mind, but also the heart of the working class. That's some of rules of principle of tactics we develop. The first principle is that we are a party of the working class. A principled party, a party who is mastering the art, and the third principle, a party of the working class. But what does it mean? It means that we decide that we want to develop branch on the workplace. You know, workplace, we are there 8, 9, 10 hours in a place where there is no democracy, no democratic right. It's strange. We call our society democracy, but during 8, 9, 10 hours, you are in a place, you are aware, you are awake, but there is no right for democracy. So it's a complicated work to develop branch, political branch on the workplace, but it's necessary. The power, we decide that we want to develop branch on the workplace. You know, workplace, we are there 8, 9, 10 hours in a place where there is no democracy, no democratic right. It's strange. We call our society democracy, but during 8, 9, 10 hours, you are in a place, you are aware, you are awake, but there is no right for democracy. So it's a complicated work to develop branch, political branch on the workplace, but it's necessary. The power in Belgium come, and the history, the social history of Belgium start often from the workplace, and that was really a big point. To be the party of the working class is also to be the party of the class struggle, and the elections struggle is a part of the class struggle. But the class struggle is much more broader than the election struggle. And the class struggle is the base, it's the base for empowerment of the working class. So we are concerned and active to develop the class struggle. To be a party of the working class is also a party who's got good relation and who give a central place for the member and the leader and the activist of the trade union in the party. So it's a big point. The trade unionist, the member of the trade union, the leader of the trade union has a central place in our party. Here I wanted only to share some pillars of our action. It was short, but I hope it gives you some ideas. Anyway, the responsibility to build a party is a responsibility in each country is different because the situation in each country is different. But in the name of the Workers' Party, we give you a lot of success, a lot of love, and a lot of fight and struggle. Thank you.
That's Benjamin Pestieau, the pretty impressive spokes there at your party. Efra Wells, thanks a lot for the gifted membership there. Davinia Robbins being the recipient. I've no doubt that she'll be delighted at that, actually. Nice shot, Efra Wells. Could we please big up Efra in the chat, please, everybody? Bullseye. Yeah, as you rightly point out there, Mo. So 97. Just readjust that. Okay, people, this is somewhat unorthodox for a stream, but I've actually been receiving footage as I've been with you on stream this evening. I'm hoping I get these in the correct order. But again, shout out to MoscheOnToast for providing us with this footage. They insist it's definitely worth watching, so I have managed to download them whilst I've been on stream with you. And it's someone from the PSC called Jeanette Hourani. This will be the first time that I've actually seen these clips. Should point out, was sent the full clip earlier, but only just had to receive it in 3 separate segments because of an upload error. Hedy, thanks again for 5 gifted memberships. Awesome stuff. That takes us over the 100 as well. I'm delighted to say 102. Please, massive shout out for Hedy, long-term viewer and supporter. Let's see some solidarity in the chat, please, people. Right, so slightly unorthodox, as I said, but I do think I know which order these 3 clips go in. We'll find out. Oh, and 5 from Mobius as well. Apologies. Did I miss that one? Did I give you a shout out? So 107. Excellent. Hedy and Mo, then, deserving a shout out in the chat, please, people. Awesome. Right, so Jeanette Hourani. I'm fairly confident I know which clips first. Let's see what's happening. I don't normally play anything before I've actually had time to watch it through. I might be getting rickrolled. I'm really choking. No, shout out again to MoscheOnToast. This one's first. I think it's got the introduction on it.
Not just today.
It does upload this time. That's a encouraging start. I just need to make a few adjustments to make sure I can hear it in my headphones. So I think this is it. The first of a three-parter. Jeanette Hourani.
But every day, can we give her a massive round of applause, please? The time for a new left project has never been more urgent. Every day in Britain, nearly half of parents skip a meal so that their children have enough to eat. This winter, it's estimated that over 2 million households will not be able to heat their homes. Over the last 2 years, we have watched in horror as the Labour government enabled war crime after war crime against our people in Gaza. We have lost at least 100,000 Palestinian martyrs in Gaza, with many still under the rubble, and this does not include the tens of thousands more maimed and injured. This is among the greatest crimes of this century. The last 2 years have taught us that whether it's supporting genocide abroad or austerity at home, the political elite of this country will never act in the interests of the people. The genocide and Gaza's resistance to it have revealed to ordinary people the lengths the ruling class are willing to go to protect their vested interests. In the early months of the genocide, up to 1 million people took to the streets of London to refuse British participation in the genocide. Students walked out of class and later waged the student intifada on campuses across the country. Activists shut down bridges and train stations, insisting there can be no business as usual while Gaza is facing genocide. Workers shut down weapons factories, refusing the utilisation of British labour in war crimes. And yet, despite the popular will and moral clarity of the British public in their rejection of Zionism, the government, indeed the Labour Party, has refused to act. Instead, they have attempted to quell and criminalise any dissent to the genocide. Shame on them. And so people have woken up, their consciousness raised, their compass reorientated. Zionism has been exposed as an enemy of the British masses, and with it the political establishment that furthers its interest at the expense of British people. This clarity is what the Palestinian struggle has gifted the working class of the world.
I like what I'm hearing here, people. From Jeanette Hourani, who I have to say I don't think I've ever heard speaking before. So that's part one. Just have to upload what I think is part two. Fingers crossed. We'll see in a moment. It's 50-50. Once I can hear it myself, which I can now.
There are other lessons that we can learn from the Palestinian struggle.
I think this looks good to me, people.
The Palestinian people are a resisting people, and the British left would benefit from learning some lessons from our struggle. Woo! From our tradition, we offer 4 vital lessons for building the new party. The protracted struggle, accumulation and organisation,
the vitality of unity, and the multiplicity of fronts. Palestinians understand our struggle to be a protracted one, a confrontation against forces with magnitudes more power than our own. Committing to a protracted struggle enables us to combat demoralization when faced with temporary defeats. Protracted resistance finds tools for liberation in every defeat. Building socialism in this country is also a protracted struggle, and the defeat of 2019 at the hands of the Zionist movement teaches us that Zionism is an enemy of socialism in Britain. But today, because of Gaza, comrades from across the movement, exiled by the defeat of 2019, are finding the tools to come together and build an alternative. The second lesson is the notion of accumulation, articulated in Arabic as taraka. A liberation struggle is in a perpetual state of accumulation. However, it is only organizations built by and for the masses that can accumulate lessons from the present to make possible the conditions for liberation in the future. The fight for Palestine in Britain has been a primary catalyst in uniting the masses across ideological divides, but a mass party is necessary in order to accumulate this desire into concrete action. The third lesson is unity. While the Palestinian people have diverse visions for liberation, we share a broad unity against our enemy. Our enemies are clearly defined and their supporters are shameless and loud. Through our differences, remembering who our enemy is remains to be the primary force that unites us in our struggle. British socialists would do well to remember that there exists among our masses enough that unifies us to build a left-wing alternative in this country. Lastly is the multiplicity of fronts. The Palestinian people are fighting a political project backed by an imperialist world system. Its media apparatus, financial linkages, production networks, diplomatic power, and cultural power span the globe. It is only through building with working people everywhere and seeing no avenue too insignificant for the battle for liberation that our movement for liberation continues to grow and expand. To build socialism in Britain, we must adopt base building and campaigning as a primary methodology for building a viable force to confront capitalism, fascism, rising state authoritarianism, and Zionism. Gaza has illuminated all. In resisting a war of annihilation under the gaze of the entire world, Gaza has provided us with the methods to confront the enemy at home and abroad. We must commit to protracted struggle. We must build a mass party to accumulate. We must be united and we must fight on all fronts. Gaza has sacrificed everything and in doing so revealed the vitality of a mass party in Britain. And so the very least we can do is build a party that is explicit in its commitment to confront Zionism, and it must hold this principle of anti-Zionism at its center. Anti-Zionism is not a maximum demand, but a minimum expectation of the masses. Just as our hope for socialism in this country was defeated by a concerted campaign by the Zionist movement between 2017 and 2019, it is the fight for Gaza and Palestine, a confrontation with Zionism that has united working people, migrants, Muslims, socialists, and anyone seeking better living conditions in this country into a viable political and social force. It is in defense of genocide that our rights are eroded, and it is through fighting for Palestine that we can build a socialist alternative. Comrades, it was Zionism that killed the hope for socialism in this country, and it is fighting for Gaza that has rebirthed it. Gaza has created a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for us in this country, and the question facing us all today is, what will we do with that opportunity? Thank you.
Good reception. Yeah, really well said. Didn't really want to interrupt that. So went through. Thanks a lot to MoscheOnToast for this exclusive footage. My left roving guy reporter for this, which took place yesterday at the Your Party conference. We'll get on to a couple of controversies as well, though, from yesterday as well as today, plus a few other bits. That was great, though. Operation successful. With some of that footage coming in live. That is whilst I started the stream. MoscheOnToast is with us in the chat. Standing ovation, please. For MoscheOnToast as well for that footage. Treating yourself to a couple of drinks tonight as well. Joining us live from the sesh. No, great to see you as always. Thanks again for that. Also been sent some other great pics as well as marvellous poem, which I will try and get into some other content on the channel. Big up, and thrice big up. For now, though, what's next? First of all, I'll address this debacle, this socialist workers. I can't believe that out of all the people, it's the Socialist Workers' Party who've managed to cause this outrageous uproar. And I have to cut to the long and short of it, where this argument yesterday is concerned. I think, from how I feel at the moment, it appears that Zara Sultana might be the one who's put her foot in it again. Where did it all begin? I suppose I'll have to start there. Members of the Socialist Workers' Party were refused entry to the conference because they don't allow dual membership. That's very common throughout all existing political parties. However, it's not sure where this came from. Of course, this was supposed to be a very broad and open party without elected leaders yet, as of yet, at the time, yesterday. And therefore, Zara Sultana was kind of making the argument that it was being undemocratic. But where the SWP are concerned, I mean, Zara was trying to make the argument that they aren't actually a political party. They don't stand in elections, even though they have the word party in the title. They just generally show up at other people's events and try and get you to buy a copy of the outdated, the news that's in the paper they're trying to sell you is outdated. I mean, and that's pretty much just it. So if that is it, then why don't they just abandon that? Instead of creating this drama and this tension, was it just to try and get some light shed on them? Was Zara Sultana a little bit sort of suckered in? Because then she boycotted yesterday as a result of that. Didn't even enter the building. and I think it was Politics Joe who first showed an interview with someone from the SWP about it. So they were getting, they were getting highlighted a lot. And yes, I can kind of sort of see the argument that Sultana's trying to make, this, you know, whose decision is it, basically. But the drama that's created about it, and instantly criticising other people within your party, so openly, again, I think is just really bad optics and a bad move, just like with the original falling out with Jeremy Corbyn, and we were led to believe that ties were being severed and they were making up and trying to make progress in building this thing together. And now this, and it's, you have to say, something of an embarrassment for that to sort of got most of the attention. That's what, you know, it's deriding away from the formation of the party, the messaging that's out there. And also, someone was removed yesterday by someone on the chair, trying to raise a point of order, and there were something like 400 points of order that were supposed to have been overridden. But they did address, amendments is what I meant to say. 400 amendments, not points of order. But they did address a lot of them today as well, and voted on them. Eventually, some structure and democracy has forced its way through. But it was difficult, and this is the sort of worst end of politics. The Green Party don't have these worries at the moment. They're a long-established party. Like I said, of course, this what has to be described as squabbling did enter into the realms of, you know, shambolic, being shambolic. You can't deny that. I want this to work. I have to point this out. I have to say this at this point. I really want this to work. I was very enthusiastic about it when I first heard about it. Obviously, if you'd have offered me a party formed by Zara Sultan and Jeremy Corbyn a year ago, I would have swiped your effing hand off. So of course I want to see it do well. I am of course also enthusiastic about the Citizens' Assembly kind of format that they have, having previously been involved with Humanity Project. There's also Assemble, which do this kind of thing. Assemble's one of the mini offshoots of JSO. So I approve of that, and we need more bottom-up democracy, like a lot of the speakers were saying, and they were voting on various amendments, as I said. I've got a couple of examples here. Just about managed to squeeze in about an hour or so of the stream today whilst I was editing some stuff. So I just sort of made a few notes here as they were voting. So first of all, about how they'll get delegates. Will this be voted by branches, or will it be voted for by branches and sortition? That word comes up again, like I said it would. Very, very quickly to explain anyone who doesn't know about sortition, although I'm sure most of you do by now, that it's a random selection, essentially a kind of lottery. It was used in a certain format by the Romans, actually, and when the Romans did it, it was actually illegal to refuse to then represent your fellow citizens, I believe. It was used as a tool to try and root out political careerism, which we seen in abundance now, of course, these days. It won't quite be so severe, of course, with the threat of imprisonment for refusing, but just that it's going to be that kind of lottery-based system. There's a counter-argument, I guess. I won't get into it too much here. However, it might open up the door for, again, antagonisers, shall we say, infiltrators, and so on. Although it would be down to chance, there is still a chance that infiltrators could be put in positions of power within the party, which, of course, the structure and format is trying to root out. That was one of the very main evils, very main problems within Labour, when it, of course, acted to try and stop Corbyn winning the 17 and 19 elections respectively. Okay, another one of these amendments was on conference matters. Should it be voted for by attendees or all members? There were more or less A-B selections for each of them, and all members, I think, was voted in where that's concerned. People with disabilities, of course, and it just makes common sense. Not everybody can get to conference for geographical reasons, for physical reasons, for monetary reasons, and this supposed to be being a party made up of the people and by the people, and sorry, that's somewhat derivative from centuries old American Revolution language, but you know what I'm saying, people. We can't expect a housebound supporter from Hibernia to be able to make it to a conference in England, for example. So they made the sensible decision where that's concerned. That's good optics. As we step into some of the more positive elements. In fact, whilst MoscheOnToast is in the chat, I'd like to get your thoughts. Might also, on other content, be doing a phone interview at some point, I think. But no, oh, back to the name. Yeah, No Justice agreed that Popular Alliance was the best name. Just a quick reminder of the choices for anyone who isn't aware. Yeah, they were. There were 4 of them. Your party, our party, For the Many, or Popular Alliance, which it was. Popular Alliance, not Progressive Alliance or People's Alliance. The splitters are over there. I'm glad that Helena agreed with you, though. That's awesome. And I will be mentioning Helena again in just a moment with some other incredible news. Another bit of positive news to bring in a bit where No Justice is concerned. But maybe Popular Alliance would have been better. I have to agree. It was so anticlimactic. Almost like, I don't know if you follow any of the old Simpsons episodes when they get thrown out there. Again, recycled, repeated. But if you've ever seen the one where you find out what the J in Homer Simpson's middle name stood for, it was kind of around that level of anticlimax. As it's revealed that the J stands for J, as in J-A-Y. Just like the new name of your party is now revealed to be Your Party. It will now therefore be known as leaflet and t-shirt printers alike might be somewhat relieved. They're sort of leaning over the machines waiting for the vote to come in, and it will, you know, and the badges and yeah, the website creators and whatnot. We need a URL for fuck's sake. What does everybody else think out of those 4 selections? Which one might you have gone for, or do you think it's better that they just stuck with your party? James Holmes, you voted for your party as the name. It seemed a little bit late to change it now. Corbyn, in his speech at the end today, also said that makes it easier for Doorstep, as he made the point that, or used the line, I think, you know, we're from your party. I think he was trying to say that canvassers will have an easy time with that one. At least they don't have to do all the emails again. Yeah, good point, Moshe. Very good point, though. And I did see a couple of people that I know on stage as well today. Actually, someone who I canvassed with for the aforementioned grassroots party that I used to be part of. As you could probably correctly assume, they've now switched sides to your party, evidently. But shout out to Billy, if you happen to be watching the streams. Also, a friend of mine called Paul was up there from JSO. In fact, I did cut support for him down in London once. And Paul's a farmer, actually. Just like one of the other just like one of the co-founders, I should say. Paul's not one of the co-founders, but another farmer. He was actually voting for the branches and sortition argument where the delegates were concerned. I think that passed. But whilst he was on stage, he got cut off at least twice. I believe this, and it was generally one lady on the chair who was speaking out, cutting people off. Thought that he was starting to speak off track and not addressing the topic in hand, which is, of course, you know, the legitimate procedure. But I think just as he was literally about to say is a sentence, paraphrasing, is why I back sortition, he got cut off, and it happened a couple of times, and then she put him back on and off, and some of that was difficult to get through. These are the hardest parts of politics. If any of you've previously been to other parties' conferences, or campaigned or canvassed for other parties, like, I can certainly get where it's coming from that perspective, but it's hard work, it really is. It's painful to get through at times. And, you know, the third vote on the second motion of the... and it can get very long-winded and drawn out. Sometimes you obviously have to go through those things to make sure that you get it right. But the main thing that happened where the voting's concerned, it will be collective leadership. That's how everybody voted. They have to follow up on that. So whether you've been debating whether Zara Sultana and or Jeremy Corbyn should lead the party, that's now completely out of the window if they're going to go along with how members have voted. I'm slightly relieved, I have to say, where Corbyn's concerned. I think, yeah, he's done a lot in his time in British politics. He, you know, hit the bar, if you want to put it that way, in 2017. He was held back then, and even further still in 2019. Reasons we won't get into. But I don't think he'd really be the best person to lead the party, would face similar backlash that he did in the past, but also being in his is he 70, around 75 now? I think he might not want to lead a party, whatever party that may or may not be. Prior to this, of course, he, after leaving Labour, was doing a lot with peace and justice projects. So maybe he might be slightly relieved. As for Zara Sultana, I think she's probably maybe shown herself to be a little bit too volatile. Now, I do like passion and enthusiasm within politics, of course. Who doesn't like to see somebody passionately talking about the issues that we're all personally concerned about as well? But perhaps sometimes not taking the time to consider what she's going to do, especially when it comes to criticising her own party. Because when you look at, for example, promotional material or social media posts that have been coming out over the last couple of days, where Zara Sultana's concerned, I do, again, have a lot of time for Zara, what she has to say. She's a very hard-working MP. Yeah. Have as much praise for Zara Sultana as anybody else, but this does have to be addressed. Because you can't go on a video and say, yeah, you know, sign up for your party, and by the way, we're here at the conference outside and all of those people inside are misogynist dickheads, and look at this factionalism here, but go and sign up. Even putting the argument into what's supposed to be promotional material, is that where they're at? Is that the level of optics that they're at, really? Because I don't know how many massive bags of popcorn Zach Polanski got through during the conference. But like I said earlier, he won't be losing any sleep this evening, as he's now edging towards 180,000 members, I believe. He's past 175. So many other things to get into, but I think we have to leave it there where your party is concerned. A slight segue though. As MoscheOnToast pointed out, Helena from No Justice, at No Justice MTG, fellow YouTuber, awesome YouTuber, who, if you don't follow already, get over there and subscribe immediately, at No Justice MTG, has now partnered up with no other than Zach Polanski himself on his Bull Politics channel. That was great to see them in conversation together. Well done, Helena. Very thoroughly deserved as well, I do have to say. So check out Helena with Zach Polanski on his Bull Politics if you've not seen that. Great chat, great interview. And well done to Helena. Solidarity. Why is she going to make the Newcastle branch call it War Party? I'm sorry, come again? War Party. I'm sorry, what are you selling? No, it's political, mate. Yes, where Greens are concerned, I'm going to queue this up. Take a look at this. Another poll which puts the Greens in second place. Just to segue from that, Helena / Zach Polanski shout out. It's just loading up now, people. And whilst that is uploading, just going to have to come off mic for a few secs. Top of my beverage. Okay, Moshe, thanks for joining us on stream. Yeah, glad you appreciate the impression. I am from the north, of course, you know, but a southerner to you. Be seeing you soon, though. Thanks again for that awesome content, awesome footage. My left roving eye. A very good night to you. We'll crack on, though. These polls, what can you say? So, well, I can say that where this one's concerned, the Greens would have 77 seats, putting them in a firm second place. Won't read through the full list of seats there, but you can see it's kind of consistent with other polls that we've seen. I can point out, well, I'll just enlarge that, because they are getting pretty big chunks of certain major towns and cities, including here in Manchester. Also Workers' Party winning a couple of seats, as you can see there, but where the Greens are concerned, they just can't be stopped at the moment. It's still a bit blurred there because I'm zooming in quite a lot, but a couple of seats in Manchester, lots in Brighton, you've got Leeds in there, Leicester, Sheffield as well, a whole bunch of places where they're going to be, well, they're projected to be taking multiple seats. So we'll take a look at the overall map and rankings. Independents as well would win 18 seats. That's a gain of 13. So if this were to come true, this one shows Reform not quite running away with it as much as other polls and projections have shown, but Labour doing equally as bad. Does that mean that perhaps Polanski's starting to tempt people away from Reform? Well, let's see what's happening. They'd still have a firm majority, as you can see here, finishing on 289. But the Greens and Lib Dem sort of in joint second, both with 77, a huge jump of 73 for the Greens there. But the Tories behind Lib Dem and Labour right down there. In sixth place with 41 seats, losing 370. Very poor, has to be said. Plaid gaining a few seats, Independents gaining 15, as I said as well. What do you think about this, people? Well, it just keeps getting worse and worse for Labour. At the same time, it's getting better and better for Polanski. I don't think anybody can dare deny that at this point. Reform might fade. You're quite right there, Medi-Doctors. When you look at them at a council level, the record is abysmal, as you rightly point out there in chat. And I do think the popularity is somewhat overstated. I saw this week the one that isn't Darren Grimes, Grimy. Death Squad. On one of the councils that's either bankrupt or they've just made a complete dumpster fire out of it, whichever one it is. Yeah, but it's a shit show where Reform are concerned. We might see them lose a few in next year's locals. Still quite a way away. See if there's, sometimes they post a few additional bits. That's Stats for Lefties. Shout out against the Stats for Lefties. Share your thoughts on that poll with us in chat or in the comments if you're watching back later on. Please, people, make sure you've hit thumbs up on the stream. A very quick skim through this article, just on UK politics. Rachel Reeves has again come under great scrutiny, this time having to deny that she misled the public over the UK's finances in the run-up to the budget. There could be an investigation. Well, again, I guess, in another shout-out to Alan No Justice and Kevin Logan, of course, who are often in joint discussion on Sundays, with Lara Kussenberg being one of the topics. I do highly recommend you check that out. But in her appearance on Kussenberg, she had a lot to answer for. Let's see what's happening here, people. Just make this legible. Yeah, of course, she broke manifesto pledges, previous statements. When you take a look at the actual substance and the content of the budget, it's emerged that the OBR told her in mid-September that the public finances were in better shape than widely thought, with Reeves omitting to mention a forecast of higher wages. Reeves said the OBR figures were clear and there'd been less fiscal space than there was, but she'd been upfront about her decision making. Of course, she's going to be raising taxes, something they previously ruled out. But Downing Street have denied the accusations. Reeves was asked by Kussenberg if she could be trusted and responded that she could. The OBR, I think, were also very critical of leaks before the budget came out, but if you do want analysis of her appearance, it looks... Oh, Kemi Badenoch. Bad Enoch. Badenoch. was on as well, by the looks of things, so check out Kevin Logan, who'll be in discussion with Helena at No Justice, if you want a full analysis of that. Not surprised. Spoiler alert, Rachel Reeves is a liar. Coming up tomorrow, Water is Wet. Yeah, it was actually put to them that it was breaking the manifesto pledges, Red F. They said they wouldn't raise any taxes or national insurance or VAT, I think was also in there as well. Tax the assets, tax the wealthy. Of course, the elephant in the room is always there. They need but reach out and do the right thing, but they never do. Just reload the chat. Thanks for the shout out there. It's getting frozen. The resignation budget, as they might come to call it. Zach Polanski has to adopt economic narratives that outflank neoliberalism and sound specific and attainable. You think, MIDI doctors? Well, I think he's already done that to quite an extent so far. Whichever way right-wing interviewers and commentators try and steer the conversation, he always brings it back down to principles that reach out to a lot of people that they can understand. I guess in a similar fashion to Zohran Mamdani when he was running for New York mayor, so he's certainly skilled. He's got a lot in the locker in that department, and he should definitely keep it up. But for now, there's also this. Just moving on to Gaza. Benjamin Netanyahu has had to seek a pardon from the President of Israel over corruption cases that he's been battling. Of course, he's got a lot on his plate that he should be in The Hague as well, but also domestically he's been standing trial for the past 5 years on charges of bribery, fraud and breach of trust in connection with 3 separate cases he denies wrongdoing. There's just literally nothing about this guy that doesn't make him an absolute shit. There's the... Played a clip recently of someone actually from within his own, I think it was, or was it the opposition party, but calling him and the Likud party out for their corruption. And I think it's probably going to be revealed that a lot of arms deals would be involved with this as well. They're also alleged to have received gifts, mainly cigars, bottles of champagne from powerful businessmen in exchange for favours, improving the circulation of an Israeli newspaper in exchange for positive coverage, and promoting regulatory decisions favourable to the controlling shareholder of an Israeli telecoms company in exchange for positive coverage by a news website. They do mention the ICC's arrest warrant there. We'll have to wait and see the verdict on that one. I know which we're all hoping that one goes, though, of course. Lock him up. Not just for that, and then get him to The Hague. Can still see a lot of chat going on in the chat concerning your party. The dust is still settling after the conference. I'm sure we'll have other things to get into and digest as we get through next week. For now though, people, I'm going to give another shout out to members on the channel. It will be my esteemed pleasure to update this list. Thanks a lot for all of your gifted memberships on tonight's stream, taking us back over the 100. Currently sitting on 107 towards a target of 250. Solidarity this Socialist Sunday, people. Really can't say how much we do appreciate all the support. And speaking of which, we'll be paying that support forward when the stream ends. Actually reading into someone I was just plugging, Kevin Logan. Alright, thanks again everybody for all of your support. Another reminder that Super Chat is open, as well as super thanks if you're watching back later on. If you can't support the channel via YouTube, then please go to the Buy Me a Coffee page. There's a link in the description. The preferred way to support the channel, as always, is of course with gifted memberships, because that also helps us increase the size of our community here, as well as supporting the channel. Another point in the chat there, just very quickly on your party. You think that they should have had Corbyn as the leader until the next election and then got some seats in Parliament and talked about collective leadership afterwards? That perhaps is another argument to make, but the vote has already been cast. It appears that that's the way it's going to go for now. Collective leadership is what's been voted. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him. Okay, just before I bring proceedings to a close here, we'll get back into the Fondue Lounge. I do have that raid into Kevin Morgan set up, as I said. But for now, we're going to get a second helping of some cheesy fondue.
Oh no!
Right, thank you very much for joining me on tonight's Sunday live stream, everybody. We are locked and loaded, ready to go and join Kevin Logan. So just finally check that you've hit thumbs up on this stream before we go over and make sure that we've hit thumbs up on Kev's stream. I'll be back, of course, with more Brews at 10 live streams during the week. Hit the notification button so you don't miss out on the latest content on the channel. and do give that most recent content, as I said, a watch. Thanks again, everybody. My Left I'll be seeing you soon. Free Palestine, free Sudan, free Yemen, of course, and Lebanon. And I'll see you over on Kevin Logan in just a moment. Good night, everybody.
Socialists,